Good afternoon. Those of you in the back, we're going to beg you and beg you and beg you to please be quiet, and we're apologizing that we don't have enough space. We thank you so much for being here. Alicia Keys says it much better than I ever could. We are here for all of us. That is why we are here. Good afternoon. I'm Rachel Garbow Monroe. I have the privilege of serving as the president and CEO of the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the 10th annual community gathering. Once a year, we set an afternoon aside to remember why we are here and why we do this work, and to thank you, each of you, for the work you do in a variety of ways and across many communities to make us all better and stronger. I would like to introduce the Weinberg Foundation trustees who are here with us this afternoon: Ellen Heller, Don Weinberg, Barry Schloss, and Rob Kelly. Thank you all very much. Our fifth trustee, Alvin Awaya, leads our operations in the Hawaii office. He sends his warmest aloha. I am happy to introduce to you once again the number 2 in our office in Hawaii, an extraordinary colleague of ours who many of you have met on trips to Israel or here in Baltimore, Corbett Kalama, representing that office with us today. Thanks, Corbett. I would also like to acknowledge our former trustees, along with their spouses, Bob and Rosemary Kelly, Bernie and Beverly Siegel, Shale Stiller, and representing a former trustee, Nathan Weinberg of blessed memory, his wife Lillian Weinberg. There are, according to my list, 26 elected and public officials here, some of whom I've not yet gotten to say hello to, so forgive me, I will after. I'm reading all of your names really quickly and probably in the wrong order, and hopefully pronounced correctly, and I apologize if I left anybody out, but we want you to know how much it means to us that you support the work of the foundation, including being with us today. Feel free to stand and wave and say hello. U.S. Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger, U.S. Congressman John Sarbanes, U.S. Congresswoman Donna Edwards, Secretary of State John Wobensmith, Deputy Secretary of State Louise Barunda, Baltimore City Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, Baltimore City Deputy Mayor Dawn Kierstatter, Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby, Baltimore City Health Commissioner Dr. Leanna Wen, Maryland State Senator Richard Madaleno, Maryland State Senator Catherine Pugh, Maryland State Delegate Dana Stein, Maryland State Delegate Mark Fisher, Baltimore County Councilwoman Vicki Almond, Baltimore County Councilman Julian Jones Jr., Baltimore City Councilwoman Ricky Spector, Baltimore City Councilman Carl Stokes, Baltimore City Councilman William Welch, representing U.S. Senator Barbara Mikulski, Michelle Brown, with Congressman Dutch Ruppersberger, the fabulous Tara Ausler, with Congressman John Sarbanes, Sue Cohen, representing U.S. Congressman Elijah Cummings, Chief of Staff Vernon Sims, representing U.S. Congressman Chris Van Hollen, Joan Kleinman, representing Baltimore County Executive Kevin Kamenitz, Nancy Sorosky, representing Council President Jack Young, Michael Huber, Liaison for Maryland Mosby, Isaac Schliefer. Thank you all for being here. Again, apologies if we left anybody out. I could now introduce all of the leaders of our community who are here with us today. Several hours later, we would leave. So everyone in the room, we thank you for being here. We know you're here. It matters to us, and we care, and we appreciate it. And while I have concluded the formalities of introductions, I hope you will indulge me one moment to introduce to you the people who are most important in my life who are here today. My husband, Joel Monroe, my children, Audrey, Danny, and Ben, and my parents, Mel and Deanie Garbow. They're right there hiding. This day of thanks has had an incredible journey as an event for the foundation. And as I am fond of sharing, many of you have heard, we did this for the first time in 2005. 54 of you, many of you in the room, came to the foundation for lunch. So 10 years later, we have more than 1,000 people in the room celebrating with us. And this year's event begins with a major announcement for the Weinberg Foundation. So without further ado, I welcome the Weinberg Foundation's chair, Ellen Heller, to the stage.
The lights are shining. When I look around the room, the script says I see more than 1,000 people who are here to support the foundation and celebrate our work during the past year of funding more than 300 nonprofits. But it's hard to see you, quite frankly, because the light is shining. All of us at the foundation have a genuine sense of pride and gratitude, and I want to echo Rachel's thanks to you for joining us this afternoon. The foundation appreciates your partnership, and today's program is a celebration of our work together. This year's annual gathering is special for another reason. Today, it is my privilege and honor to share one of the most important announcements the foundation has ever made, the introduction of the foundation's next trustee. As many of you know, Harry Weinberg himself wrote the charter that specifically outlines the foundation's mission, grant guidelines, and governance structure. He not only named the original board of 5 individuals, Harry Weinberg also named what we refer to as successor trustees, meaning that when a trustee retired or stepped down, the charter stated who would be next in line to serve as a trustee of the foundation. Since 1990, every individual who has served as a trustee of the Weinberg Foundation was specifically designated by Harry, and in fact, I am the final trustee Harry Weinberg appointed. In February 2010, it was my honor to join the Weinberg Foundation's board, where for the almost nearly 3 years I've served as board chair. Consistent with the charter's provision, however, in May 2016, my term as trustee concludes. It's been a great run so far. So for the first time in its history of 25 years, the foundation's board of directors was charged with the task of selecting a new trustee. And today you will meet the first trustee not designated by Harry Weinberg. The board of the foundation, and I want to thank my colleagues, I can't even see them, but Don Weinberg, who I know is there, Barry Schluss, who I know is there, Rob Kelly, who I know is there, and Alvin Awaya, who's in Hawaii. We have worked together closely throughout the trustee selection process, which has successfully resulted in the choice of an exceptional person to be the next trustee. The board wants to give special thanks to our special president, Rachel Monroe, for her leadership and guidance during the 9-month process. Therefore, on behalf of the board and the staff of the Weinberg Foundation, it is my great pleasure this afternoon to present to you the individual who in May 2016 will become the 12th trustee of the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation. In the program, you may read about her diverse and distinguished background, but it's good I'm speaking because maybe you can see, but it's hard to read and see here. In her distinguished background, you will see that it includes serving as the 65th United States Ambassador to the Kingdom of the Netherlands. And you will also read in the program, she is eminently qualified with a long list of impressive achievements. Let me share with you a few facts about the woman the trustee have come up with and have come to know over the past few months. She is a daughter of Holocaust survivors and a wife to a successful and philanthropic businessman, Daniel Levin. She is the mother of two, a son, Jeffrey Rapp, who took time out of his busy schedule in the White House to come be with his mother and with all of us in the celebration today, and a daughter, Alyssa, who lives in California with her husband, and the mother of our next trustee's grandchildren. Our next trustee has worked hard. She had a distinguished legal career representing public school districts and universities. She was a vice president of the Field Museum of Chicago. Among the boards on which she currently serves are the National Archives Foundation and the Roosevelt Institute. She is an advisor at the Harris School of Public Policy and an instructor at the law school at the University of Chicago. She is a distinguished fellow at the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. I think you can detect she's from the Windy City, Chicago, and the foundation welcomes her ideas and experiences that we know she will share with us. Her appointment is an acknowledgement of the international and national initiatives funded by the Weinberg Foundation in the areas of workforce, older adults, disabilities, food banks, shelters, and early childhood education. Of course, the foundation will remain steadfast in our commitment to Baltimore City and the state of Maryland. Were you aware that during the last 3 years, the foundation approved nearly 300 grants totaling $102.5 million for Maryland, and most of those funds were designated for Baltimore City. The life of our next trustee reflects commitment and responsibility to her community and country. She has made a difference, and even more as we've come to know, she's a genuinely good and kind person. There is no doubt that she will serve with distinction during her tenure at the Weinberg Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the foundation, please join with me in warmly welcoming Ambassador Faye Hartog-Levin.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you to the trustees and to Rachel Monroe for welcoming me to Baltimore and to the Weinberg Foundation so warmly. I'm delighted that my son, Jeff Rapp, could be here today, and my good friends Penny and Alec Dan and Diana Spencer. It means a lot to me that you're here. My life and career have taken many paths, and I'm always interested in the new opportunities. I'm so very happy to have this opportunity to join the Weinberg Foundation trustees, to learn more about Baltimore, and to learn about grant making. I realized that when I served abroad in the Netherlands, that the role of philanthropy is a uniquely American value. And I characterized for my husband that the role of the Weinberg Foundation was to extend a helping hand to those who most needed it. When I was with the State Department, I had a State Department ID, and I used it once at Reagan Airport to pass the TSA security. And when the TSA person looked at that ID, she looked up at me and she said, "Thank you for your service." And I was so very touched by that, thinking that here I was having the honor of serving the United States, representing the United States and the President in a country that meant a lot to me and to my family, that I felt like I should say to her, "Thank you for your service." So today I say to the grantees of the Weinberg Foundation, the elected officials, and to the staff and the trustees of the Weinberg Foundation, thank you for your service. Finally, I'll share with you something I learned last week when I had the opportunity to go with my husband to visit Japan. And I learned that the Japanese have a great respect for the concept of karma. And I always was a little bit mistaken about what the real meaning of karma was. I always thought good karma was equal to good luck. And I learned that good karma means something else. It means that the good that you give comes back to you, whether it's in this life or in another life. And I feel that this opportunity to join the Weinberg Board is really a wonderful karma for me. So thank you very much.
Ambassador Levin, Faye, thank you, welcome, and congratulations. Faye has already begun spending time at the foundation with our colleagues and trustees as she prepares to be a trustee next May. Ellen, thank you for the leadership that you've provided. You're still here for several months, so we'll have that conversation in May. But we thank you for all that you have done as chair. This event is a celebration of the legacy of Harry and Jeanette Weinberg. It is also a remembrance or a yahrzeit for Harry Weinberg of blessed memory. Harry Weinberg died November 4th, 1990, a few days and 25 years ago. May he rest in peace, and may we continue to honor his legacy in the work that we do. Since 1990, the foundation has distributed more than $1.9 billion in grants. Today, with the leadership of our new investment colleagues and real estate management by our offices in Hawaii and Baltimore, we have more than $2 billion in assets and the responsibility of distributing roughly $100 million in grants each year. Hearing those numbers, some would say that the Weinberg Foundation is very big. On the other hand, in terms of staff size and our personality, we are small. By being big and small, we believe we are uniquely positioned to other foundations of our size and scope. We can be prompt and responsive, sometimes approving an emergency grant with full board participation in a matter of hours, while also being careful and thoughtful before making major decisions. We can be far-reaching while also being local and accessible. We can do our best to make a meaningful and lasting difference, while I hope also demonstrating a commitment to humility and kindness. The word kind has many meanings today. Yes, it represents our keynote speaker's philosophy, and you will hear his inspiring story in just a few minutes. Kindness is also one of the bedrocks upon which the foundation's work rests. I believe kindness can be powerful. If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, the kind words from a friend can provide comfort. If you are having a really bad day, a kind gesture from a colleague or friend can lift your spirits. A kind gesture to a stranger who is feeling alone and vulnerable can provide some much-needed hope. My office has a sign in it given to me by Amy Klein, which reads very simply, "Kindness matters." I agree. I acknowledge kindness is hard to measure and evaluate regarding its impact on a business or a program. But alternatively, would you agree that one could measure the impact of cruelty? I would pose you could measure both, and you will find kindness has a valuable and meaningful impact. And so beyond kindness, the specific portfolio assets and grant distributions, the foundation's success is measured in lives that are changed for the better through the good work done by the nonprofits we fund, represented by all of you in this room today. It is no easy task to select a handful of grants among the 300 or so awarded just this past year to represent the foundation's work and mission. And still, we hope what you are about to see gives you a few examples of effective grants to nonprofits that are also kind-hearted in the work they do.
Sometimes you have to look back to know where you've been, what you've gone through, and learn from that. I live with my son and daughter. Cassidy, she's 7, and Germany is 13, almost 14. Cassidy, she had something called ADEM. It was like a seizure disorder. I fell behind so much, I wasn't able to renew my lease. We stayed at hotels, we stayed in family members' houses. That was the lowest point of my life. I was homeless with 2 children and I needed help. We checked into Sarah's Hope. It was the biggest decision that I ever made in my life.
Sarah's Hope is a shelter for families. What our staff do here at Sarah's Hope is to help families begin to reclaim their lives.
It can happen to anybody. I saw that I wasn't the only mom with her kids that were homeless. It was a lot of us there.
The first thing is to provide a safe, caring environment, that they have people who care about them, that there are going to be resources provided, and that there's hope on the other side to move from homelessness to stable housing.
We had food, we had our showers, we had a place to sleep.
Sometimes it's the first time they've had their own home, their own room, their own bed.
Even when it came to school supplies for the children.
Sarah's Hope Shelter is a short-term stay for families. Families do not stay longer than 90 or 120 days. Many leave sooner.
I didn't really have to worry about anything except going to work.
Journey Home is committed to ending homelessness in Baltimore City, and when homelessness does happen, to making it rare and brief.
Three days before Christmas, we got a call saying that we were going to be moving into our house. A blessing, a true blessing. 3-bedroom house with a basement. Much more than what I had before I was homeless. Divide 40 by 8. I don't know where I would be if I hadn't gone to Sarah's Hope. When I think about that, I feel as though I can get through anything now. I'm in a good place right now. I work at Johns Hopkins. Some of the women at the shelter didn't have jobs and they were looking for jobs so that they could find housing.
We just have recently renovated this building. And in our new building, we're now able to double that capacity thanks to the Weinberg Foundation.
This is not the end for me. I'm gonna go back to school, get my degree in radiology. Where I was there because I didn't have this, but now I have it. I'm not letting it go. Gotta dream big. Why not?
Incredibly optimistic about Baltimore, about the youth of Baltimore, about the passion and innovation that they have.
You have about 2 minutes to finish cutting out your second shape.
So much of the tech innovation that this country is built on has come from people with ideas, tinkering and making.
Kids are having a blast with this.
Digital Harbor Foundation is a youth makerspace where kids from all over the city come to use technology and to make technology. You're going to see kids working with everything from cardboard and duct tape. They are soldering.
What they like the most is the 3D printers.
How long did this take to print, do you know?
It's about took 2 hours.
We love being a space where we can ask them, what do you want to do?
Today we're finishing up one project which uses a Gemma, which is like a little square circuit board.
I programmed it so it looks like Batman seeing ghosts.
Very cool stuff, I think.
And for the students, it's really purposeful and meaningful because they are making things that they've dreamed up.
This is an old piano that I turned into a digital jukebox.
Sierra is a young lady that got involved about 2 years ago in our program.
We're always playing music in our space, but everyone didn't really know whose playlist to play or
who was gonna pick the music. So it combined two problems, one solution.
She saw technology as a tool for interaction.
When the key touches the block of aluminum foil, which then sends a signal to the Makey Makey, which will send that number to the Raspberry Pi and pull a song from a Spotify playlist. I've taken it to the White House. That was not an easy trip.
And the skills that are most important from our perspective are things like grit and determination and knowing how to learn. So when you learn how to learn in an ever-changing tech landscape, you'll be well equipped to learn the next thing.
The arm is the Y, and then this is the X.
We had a 3D printer kit that was all in pieces, and we said, Darius, do you want to build a 3D printer?
About 2 years ago, I didn't know what 3D printing was. Hey, I'm just gonna give it a try, and I stuck to it, and I made it.
For 8 weeks, every single day, he came after school and would build and build.
This circuit board is hidden, but it's a USB right here.
The day that it printed was sort of this, like, I did it. You know, I think that moment for him was transformational.
I built a white version for the White House.
From that point to now building half a dozen 3D printers to teaching, the thing that he does the most is now help other youth here in the space.
Try to get the other side of it.
Job.
For the youth that come to this space, we want to see their passion for learning grow.
I can't even begin to tell you how many opportunities it's given me. It's completely shaped who I am and my love of technology.
This is something that should and could exist elsewhere in Baltimore City, around the country. We would love to see other rec centers become tech centers. The tech economy here in Baltimore desperately needs this talent. And that's what we're working on here is helping to create a different way of leading tech education.
It's other ways and other paths to success. I know the hard work that it takes.
What the emergency grant did was allow us to enroll additional students this coming year and welcome them into our Thread family. In its most simplistic form, it's just love. That's what our kids need. They need love.
Born and raised in Baltimore. This is where I grew up.
When I first met him, was very shy, struggling in school.
My transformation started at Dunbar High School. My freshman, sophomore year, I was introduced to the intensive mentoring program, now called Thread.
Thread works with underperforming high school students who are struggling both inside and outside of the classroom.
What's so unique about Thread is the commitment to be with a student for 10 years, because nothing like that happens overnight. 4 years later or 3 years later, it clicked. It's like, you know, I can go to college, I can be successful, I can have a meaningful life.
We do anything that you would do for your own child, from pack their lunch, give them rides to school, provide tutoring, help them find a summer job. If you would do it for your own child, we do it for ours.
We're going to pick up Lizzie, who is my student, and drive her to summer school.
Good morning.
How was your week? Did you do anything fun? She is a great student. She's very smart.
Did you?
Her main thing she needs to overcome is that she doesn't attend school, but we're working on it.
The key to Thread's success has been that we never give up on a student. No, you're not going to end up dead or in jail. There's an entirely other set of options, and here's what they look like, and here's how to get there, and let's go there together.
These track 4X will become canceled out.
So being part of Thread means that everyone in the Thread community is growing, is learning, is changing, is figuring out who they are, what they're good at, what they're passionate about.
Yeah, we got 2X equals 7 minus 3Y. We're just going through some algebra problems. Let's try to solve for y. We've been more focused on trying to get his SAT score up to get y equals 1. Nice job.
She's, I think, looking forward to the school year for once. You're the best. Have a good day. The fact that she wants to change and get herself to school and make sure she's there every day is making a small difference, but it feels amazing.
I'll be helping students in elementary, middle school, and ninth graders excel in literacy, math, and also just attendance. I often reflect on my journey, but I'm very grateful for those people that really invested in me and my well-being. I was given the opportunity to find my passion. I may have not known that I could make a difference 10 years ago, but today I very much so know that I could make a difference.
Thank you. We are thrilled that many of the amazing individuals highlighted in that video are here with us this afternoon, not only the executive directors and board members, but Tiffany, Sierra, Darius, and Derek, thank you for being in the video and for what you're doing. Those of us who work at the Weinberg Foundation have jobs that we hold very dear and do not take for granted, and I think you would agree they're some of the best jobs you could ever have. I want to take a moment to thank everyone here and who's with us working to care about our beloved hometown of Baltimore and wanting to lift up our city toward better days. It is not easy work, but it is very important, and we thank you. I'd also like to thank all of my Weinberg Foundation colleagues for the work they have done. Behind you on the screen, you're seeing every single trustee and employee of the Weinberg Foundation's Maryland office, a total of 33 people. Everything we celebrate today reflects the dedication and the hard work of these fantastic people I have the privilege to work with. They carry out our mission in a collaborative and caring way. And one example I can evidence for you is in these remarks, I had some comments of thanks in particular to Craig, Yvonne, Jen, and Megan for orchestrating today's event. And in the theme of kindness and humbleness, Craig deleted them and thought I wouldn't notice. Thank you for a superb job well done. I also want to acknowledge the senior staff who work with me closely and put up with me, Jonathan Hook, Cheryl Goldstein, Craig Demchek, and Arlene Hayden, without whom nothing would get done. Thank you.